Hello and welcome to my YouTube channel called aKnittersSoul. My name is Elo and I'm coming to you from Oslo, Norway. As the name suggests, this channel is primarily about knitting, so if that is something you enjoy, then feel free to stay and spend some time with me. If you are a returning viewer, welcome back. Your company is highly appreciated. If you are a new viewer, I hope you like my content and feel free to hit the subscribe button if you do. And talking about subscribing, thank you so much to every single one of you who has clicked subscribe or has liked my video or has commented. It's been such a joy reading all of your comments under my last video, as per usual. There's been so many lovely comments that I've really truly enjoyed reading. I've cried a little, I've laughed a little, I've just really felt so like grateful to the bottom of my heart reading all the good feedbacks that you've been writing to me. It is highly appreciated. It just blows my mind how kind the knitting community is. It's just so wonderful. So thank you so much to every single one of you who has commented or just liked. That's not, I mean, that's lovely as well, don't get me wrong. Yeah, and also talking about the comments, I want to do a special shout out to Sandy and Tucker. It was so much fun reading your comment. Yeah, you really made me laugh there, so thank you so much. And yeah, it's wonderful to hear from the other side of the screen, because I'm sitting here in my room, in my crafting room, recording to myself, and kind of feels like a one-way street. So getting the comments from you, my viewers, it's so much fun, because it's actually making me feel like I'm talking to a friend, a good friend, and spending time and knitting together with you. It's amazing. So thank you so much. Yeah, a little bit of admin. As per usual, I will be linking all the information down below, that being my social media oh wow, my social media information is called, and pattern links or shops that I mentioned, I will be linking them below. But if I miss out on one or other, then do not hesitate to reach out. I will gladly point you in the right direction if yeah, you're interested in something particular. I'm just thinking, yeah, I've also since last time created a Ko-fi, I don't know how to pronounce it, but it's like a coffee cup that you can give, like electronic coffee cup. And yeah, I've actually already received a few coffees, and they are so much appreciated. I don't expect you to be donating me money or anything. This is a non-profit channel. I just do it for my own enjoyment, first and foremost, and also to say to spare my poor family members from seeing all of the knitted items 10,000 times and, you know, waiting for feedback from them. It's nice to spread it out. But with that being said, it does help when it comes to sending out the giveaways, because shipping isn't that cheap, but that's okay. I find so much joy in giving, so one way or other those will happen. But also it's so much appreciated that you have gifted me a little coffee cup or two. And with that being said, let's segue into the giveaways. As I said last time, I'm gonna give away 3 gifts this time around. just to celebrate my birthday. I want to share my birthday with you. So I did the draw before starting to record, because I don't want to be spending time fiddling around with it on the recording. And I'm glad I did so, because even though it's quite intuitive how to do it and everything went smooth, I still fiddled a little bit. It still took some time, so I think it was a good choice to do it off screen. And yeah, just to remind you, it's those gifts here, the autumn bag and the spring bag, plus a third one which was just called gift, and I will explain it as soon as I get to that. So the autumn bag was made by Gunneren Simonsen, Gunnis Englestrikk. She has a podcast here on YouTube, and she sews bags, and she also dyes some yarn. I want to say mostly on wool base, like pure wool, but I might be wrong. But yeah, she mostly sells bags, and they are really high quality. So if you wanna get a new bag, then I actually really highly recommend her. But yeah, anyway, Villa Silla yarn, this beigey color, and this, it's really pretty. It's almost like a pumpkin kind of color. It's really pretty. This, I'm not a huge orange person, but I really think this is like so pretty. Those two balls. And the winner of this gift is Louise Mary Todd. Louise Mary Todd. I'm not sure. I'm probably butchering your names. Like, how do you say it? I'm too much in my Norwegian mind space right now, but I would say like Louise Mary Todd. So you're the winner of this bag and those yarns. So you need to reach out to me on Ravelry or Instagram and provide me with your address. So that was gift number 1. Then the spring bag with the yarn, this massive yarn, 260 grams of this luscious green beautiful woolly wool. This one is going to Trine Merete Broch. So you also gonna have to reach out to me either on Ravelry or Instagram with your address, and this will also be sent to you as soon as possible. And the last gift, I don't have anything to show to you, because the winner, who is Elaine Byrne, you're gonna have to go to Villa Silla shop and choose yarn to your liking. Like, we'll talk and we'll figure out the details of how much and like to the amount and whatever. But yeah, reach out to me, and you'll have the freedom of choice, so to say. You can choose the colors you want yourself. But yeah, reach out to me and we'll work out the specifics of how to choose and to which quantities and such. But yeah, congratulations to the 3 of you on your wins, and thank you so much to all of you for commenting. And yeah. Whee! I'm looking at my notes because I'm trying not to forget anything. Did I say? No, I didn't, I think. Yeah, this is like take 3 or 4 or something. So I might be forgetting something. I might be repeating something. If I do repeat myself, sorry. I don't do it attention. I'm unsure if I said it yet or not. But happy birthday to all of my March babies. I saw there was quite a few comments about like, yeah, me too, I have birthday in March, and or my husband has a birthday, or my kid has a birthday. So happy birthday to all of the March babies out there. I love the month of March. I love that it's kind of the breaking point, going over from the dark, long, cold winters to spring, and everything starting to sprout and everything turning greener and greener with every day that passes, even though it's been really cold here in Norway, must be said. And I'm not saying I'm not comparing my Oslo to rest of the country, because there's huge variances from the south to the north. I know the north has been even colder, the weather has been even more extreme, but it's been cold. It's been like really, really cold. It started getting warmer, but then it suddenly came like this cold front of sorts, and we were experiencing, pretty much still are experiencing, like down to -10 to 12 degrees during the night, and maybe if you're lucky in the sun, then you're up in a couple degrees plus. So yeah, it's been cold, and then just 2 days ago, it just snowed pretty much the whole day. It came like 30 centimeters of heavy snow. There was trouble with the traffic, and people were advised to stay in. And I know it's like, yeah, do not compare this to the northern Norway or such. Like they're gonna say like, oh, you southerners, you know nothing of bad weather and big amounts of snow. But it is enough to kind of yeah, kind of feel the power of winter and snow and how much it affects us and traffic and everything. With all that being said, I love the month of March. I love how it usually turns into more like spring weather. I see like the spring flowers popping up, and yeah, I just really enjoy the month of March, with the promises of spring. So yeah, so that's about that. Let's get into the knitting. Today I am wearing a sweater, but it is a store-bought sweater, so the only thing I will say about it is that it is a non-typical color for me. It's this dark green, like a foresty green, I would say like a pine color perhaps. I quite like it as a neutral dark sweater to wear, because I don't gravitate too much to blacks anymore. I used to do more so maybe when I was younger, a lot younger, more in my teens. That was like kind of cool and stuff. But I find that the black, like solid black, it just drains me so much. So I don't choose black if I don't have to or if I don't need to. Which was actually kind of a problematic, because I a couple years back I had a funeral to attend and I didn't have any dark colors, so I actually had to go out and do some shopping, get some black clothes. But yeah, I like colors. I mean, yeah, I like lighter colors, or like this kind of like dark, something like a blue or green. I find them more and more pleasing. Anywho, let's get to the finished objects. When I spoke to you last, I was working on my Mystic Spiral socks. This time they are finished. It's 2 of them. They are by Josh Rix Robinski. I really like them. I'm really happy with the way it turned out. They're pretty much identical. I mean, as far as I can see, they are more or less identical. I mean, they always be a little like variances, but not a lot. Yeah, I think they're just so fun and pretty. It's just like, it's a basic vanilla sock, but with a little bit of interest. I find them to sit on my foot really well. I think I said that last time as well. It's something with this diagonal stripe that goes over your foot. It just hugs so nicely. It's like, you see, like my thumb is kind of like warping it a little bit, but it just hugs your foot. If I do like that, yeah, that's better. It hugs your foot in a really nice way, I find. So you have a right sock and left sock, and they're really nice. And as I was like talking to length, I think last time, I added 2 extra stitches on both sides for the heel, and that helped a lot because I am more fond of a classic flap heel, cassette flap heel. Yeah, you know what I mean. Because I find them to fit my foot better, but this was actually quite nice. Actually, I was watching a podcast. Is it Fiber Hustle? I might know. It's 2 guys from America. I sometimes watch them. I'm so bad with names. But they were talking about this umbrella sock, I think it was, with that like heel that's like an umbrella heel, and they were like raving about how well that fitted. If any of you has knitted that, let me know. Like, do you find it to fit better? Because I'm like, I'm not too keen on this kind of heel, but I mean it's better with those extra stitches, but I'm always like looking for expanding my horizon, learning new techniques, new ways of doing things. So let me know in the comments, like, what is your preferred heel, like to get a higher instep but maybe still get this kind of look that is sort of like a after heel, or fish lips, kiss lips, whatever those all things are. But yeah, I'm really happy with the socks. Oh, the yarn, I think I didn't say anything about it. It's Arctic yarns, no, Arctic Crafts. It's strawberry pavlova. It's such a pretty yarn, and it was so nice to work with. I think I didn't experience any splitting. I can't remember me thinking of that. But yeah, it's a really nice yarn. It's Arctic Crafts, as I said. It's 75% merino, 25% nylon, fine merino sock. Yeah, can recommend it highly. It's really nice. It was nice to work with. I love the product, the end product. It's so nice to the touch. I usually go to, like, don't think I've ever mentioned it because I'm so bad at it. It's like most of my socks I knit 64 stitches on 225 millimeters. I think I usually don't provide it because we come different sizes. We knit with different gauges, so I find that sometimes that's, I mean, I like some, like when people tell me, it gives me an idea, but I think in my head I forget it because I know it's kind of, everything is oh, I lost the word. Yeah, it depends on how you knit. I like the preferred needles, but mine go to 225 64 stitches. I find that to be a good fit on my foot. Also, you can just, I think, barely see, I added a white arvetta to the ribbing. It's just slightly lighter. Well, you can't really tell, I think, because I wanted the ribbing to be white. I just want it kind of ended on a clean kind of note, and I find that the all white ribbing provided that. So yeah, they're done. And I used 46 grams, I think it was, of this yarn and 11 of the arvetta, so I have enough for another pair. Probably not gonna make the same. Just maybe I'll make just plain vanilla. Maybe I'll do something else. I don't know, but I can recommend the pattern. It's pretty intuitive once you kind of understand the logic of it. So yeah, I can recommend you to check it out. Then I went on a rampage of hats. I started knitting hats because I wanted to. Do you ever get that urge where you feel like you really want to have to knit up something from your stash? I do so. And then I often like go on a rampage of hats or maybe mittens or maybe socks or something that you can make out of those smaller amount of yarns. And I was looking at the yarns that I got from my man for my advent and wanted to use them, wanted to find a way of using them. I had thought about maybe trying to put them in a color work of sorts or yeah, something along those lines, but I suddenly felt like I wanted to make hats and I wanted to make double layer hats. So I did. My original plan was to make one hat that had this yellow inside, or like one side yellow and the other side, I think I thought of the green. But then I provisional cast on 96 stitches, 3.5 millimeters US 4. I knitted for about 23 centimeters because I wanted to have slouch, but that meant that I used up the whole ball of yarn. So I added the green there, and once I had done that, I was like, well, maybe I should do the same on the other side, that I use up one ball of another color and then have a green ending. So I did with the orange, without realizing before or afterwards that it's gonna look like a pumpkin, because this color is very much like a pumpkin color. And with this aubergine, no, not aubergine, I'm lying, artichoke green, it looks like a pumpkin. But I don't mind, I think it's cute, it's fun. So yeah, I knitted for about 23 centimeters. Then, no, it must have been less, because I think the whole, okay, my decreases start there. So it's about 23, I think it was, up there, up to this point. And I did like this very simple decrease from 4 points. It's where you do a slip, slip, knit, 1 knit, 2 together every second row. And I'm really happy with the way it turned out. It's really warm. I have washed it. I have not blocked it. I was considering blocking it because it doesn't have like a whole lot of slouch because the thickness of the fabric. But I'm not sure if I want to do it or not. I'm gonna have to contemplate on that because I really like it. And also with this yarn, I was a bit worried that it might be too prickly, because when I was like first knitting it up, it felt a bit itchy. And my tolerance is quite high and I don't really mind too much, but I was a bit worried. But I must say, after washing it, it did soften up. It's a lot better. And I actually went for a walk the other day and had this one on a, it was really cold day, and it was really nice and warm. Fluff. And what I was gonna say, it was really warm. Yeah, I wasn't bothered by the toothiness, because it's a little bit of toothiness, I would say. So if you're very sensitive, I don't know if this is a yarn I would recommend for you to be putting on your forehead, if that is the same for you with being a sensitive area. What I would say is that if I would make this again, or like I did make it again, but I would probably shorten it, because like with the way I use my hats, I don't know if I would necessarily want it as long. I don't know why I did it that long, but I did it. But what is fun with this, like if you're like, if you want, you can pull it down, you can have a double layer, and you're gonna have yourself like more of a hipster kind of hat. Yeah, different ways of using it. It's really, really warm. Simple hat. But yeah, it looks like a pump. Oh my god, what happened to my hair? it's one of those episodes. It's fun. I like it. It's like those color blocks. But yeah, like talking about the color blocks, I really wanted to make another one, but more like color block, so you actually could see the different colors more. Also like when you're looking on from ahead. So I went back to this Strikkeweber shop, and bought myself more yarn. I was thinking about, what was I thinking about? I think it was thinking about adding on to, but then I found like, oh, I would really like that color, so I added on 2 balls of colors. Let me start off with what I had from before. I had from before this pink color. It's cute pink, and I wanted to have like, I think I first went with the idea of a bright green, but that bright green didn't really work well with this pink. And yeah, I went with this yellow, which is like a sun yellow or egg yolk kind of yellow. It's this dark, beautiful yellow. But I went with this blue as the second color. And I really like it. I love these hats because it's so fun. Like if you're feeling one day for the blue one, then I can use the blue. If I feel like the pink one, then I can use the pink. And this one I have knitted shorter. I think it's about 2 centimeters shorter. I aimed like, sorry, this fluff. I aimed towards like 21 centimeters. This one is, I think it was about 14, and this is like about, yeah, I think the whole length of the hat was about 21. I have the notes. I think I've written it down on my Ravelry. It's like, I think I did this for 14 centimeters, and then I went for 7. No, it was 7 before the decreases. So yeah, it was 21 in the length and then the decreases. So let me just read something with my hair here. Yeah, it'll be fine. The same decrease on this one with the 4. Yeah, it's the same amount stitches, the same size needle. This one also, I have washed it but not blocked it. I like the length of this one better, for sure. It's more typical me, but I don't mind the other one either, because when I was outside with my man, like I said, it was really nice to be able to pull the hat really far down, because the wind was cold. It was like sunny, like really proper sunny, but it was cold wind. So it was really nice to have this thick warm hat. So yeah, those are the 2 hats, pumpkin and spring, something like that. And I still have quite a bit of the yarn left, so I am thinking that either I'm making another one of those double hats, but maybe doing some intarsia. I'm not sure. Maybe I have this sort of idea in my mind. I need to kind of figure out how, or if I can make it work. And also about this yarn, this Merino. If you're into recycled yarn, this is 50% recycled, repurposed fiber. So 50 merino and 50 repurposed fiber. And that repurposed fiber, if I remember correctly, was among others merino, and then like wool, and then mohair, and I believe there's also silk in there. So this was a nice yarn to try out. Really nice fabric. It's really soft. But yeah, if you're a little bit sensitive, maybe not make a hat or something that's like very close to your most sensitive parts of your body. But otherwise, yeah, really lovely yarn. So that was my second and third finished object. Then I, after casting all those new hats and, you know, doing all that, I felt like I needed to finish up my beautiful Duggfrisk shawl by Lene Tøsti. It had kind of lingered a little bit because it wasn't something I could just grab with me and go. It was not something I could take with me to knit nights or anything, because it does demand a little bit focus, not because the pattern in itself is difficult, but because working with mohair, I found that, and actually I have missed a stitch here, I think, or not. Okay, oh, not. Oh, it just looked like for a moment I had slipped a stitch. I was afraid of losing stitches, like not grabbing the right one or grabbing two together when I was not supposed to do that. So it needed a bit of attention and focus. And I really wanted to get it off my needles. I wanted to be done because, I mean, hello, I started in, was it November or something? It was about time it was finished. So I added on 3 more repeats because that was exactly what I had yarn for. And this is it. It's quite big. It's really, really nice size, I think, for a shawl. I'll get it all close up so you can see more of the yarn. So the yarns that I used here are Blygeblomer, blowing out, Blygeblomer by Ull Design, which is like shy flowers. This is really, really lovely pale pink, really, really pretty, really nice yarn. It's a superwash merino, 100% superwash merino, so perfect for shawls, really, as it doesn't have any nylon content in it. And I paired it with silk mohair from Garnbutikken Fortuna, and the yarn is called Rose Quartz or Rosenquartz, and it is 72% fine kid mohair, 28% silk, which is 50 grams to 420 meters. Really, really pretty yarn. Really lovely to work with. It's really lovely. Like, really, I think it's really lovely end result. And actually, like, once I decided that no, I'm gonna power through this, I'm gonna get it finished because I want the end product, it went really quickly. And also the pattern says, like, you know, knit until you have your desired size or you're running out of yarn. So I had added on one section, then I was like, wow, maybe you should like weigh the ball, because like it went from like not minishing at all to suddenly like going whoop, like there's nothing left there. And I figured out like I probably get 1 more repeat out of it, but I wasn't sure if I was gonna like run out it just by the end of it. Luckily I didn't. This is what I have left. This is like about 3 grams or so. I think this is like really good like result for using up all those beautiful hand-dyed yarns and not having like a whole bunch left or something. This is not much. So yeah, I can absolutely recommend this pattern if you want something that is like strikingly beautiful. I would say it's so simple, you know, not everything has to be so complicated. Some things are, sometimes it's better with simple things. I like those little speckles of darkness in there. Yeah, and there's some specks of pink. I don't know if I can find. Yeah, there's like a little spot of pink just there. So yeah. Lennetøsti Dugfrisk. And yeah, this pattern is also available in English. So if you are interested in maybe trying it, then I can recommend this. Took me a little like second to get into the pattern because I think I was overthinking it kind of, and wasn't just trusting the pattern. So there's nothing wrong with the pattern, but I was overthinking it, so it took me a couple takes before I got into it. But once I got into it, it really flowed. It flowed like so nicely. So yeah, that is my shawl done of my needles, which is so gratifying, so lovely. And that's gonna be a gift to somebody. I'm not gonna mention it, but it is meant to be a gift. Let me see what's next. Oh yeah, I was contacted by a colleague of mine, who has moved to the northern Norway. She's working there, and she was like, well, I see you knit a lot, and would you mind knitting me a pair of mittens? And I was like, well, yeah, sure, I can do that. Do you have any like preferences of sorts? And she's like, well, I like blues, I like reds, I like yellows. I'm like, okay, I can figure it out. I have those yarns, I have those colors, I can do that. So I went digging through my stash, and I also went through a lot of patterns, and I was trying to see what would inspire me, what would make me want to start knitting. And I I haven't looked at this pattern before, but I found this pattern and I thought like, yeah, I want to do that. And the pattern is this one. Let me see. I'm not gonna show the, yeah, there. They are called Soria Moria votter or vott. They are by Tori Seierstad. Again, the same lady who's made this baby blanket there. I love her designs. It's like they're so fun. It's like refreshingly different and fun. Anywho, digressing. I wanted to make them, and it does. The pattern does say like it's perfect for using up your stash, those little leftovers from here and there, and like hers were made in Finul as well, yeah. And I was like, well, I do have a lot of Finul. I have a lot of different colors. I had a lot of different blues, and yeah, pinks and yellows. So I thought, yeah, that's perfect. I can do that. So my initial thought was to vary the blues in the background, just as it is in the pattern, and then add in like a yellow, like that. I was thinking either would take it like one solid yellow, or maybe go from either light to dark or dark to light. That was my initial thought. But then I thought, I have that beautiful yarn called it's Shawl, which is hand dyed by this Norwegian dye called Verbit, and it's called Ranunculus, and it has, you know, let me see if I do like that. There's the camera. It has pinks and it has yellows. It has kind of these orangey tones, some greens, and I was like, that would be fun. And once I had thought that, it was just like everything fell into place. I started like, you know, seeing a vision of it, how I want it to be. And this is the end result. These are the mittens I made. I think they're so fun. And I have done the, I'll show you once more. I have done the ribbing differently. The pattern calls for, I think it's twisted rib with some color work in it. I wasn't feeling it. I didn't want the focus to be there. I kind of wanted to be more simple. So I did this red, orange, yellow, so it would go lighter, and so sort of like would go into this speckly in my head. That was kind of the plan. She didn't want too long of ribs, so this is why they are length they are, kind of thing. This, and I did what I've seen quite a lot of people been doing now online is that to not get those spots, or like when you go from one color to other in purl stitches, then it kind of do I have any examples? Yeah, you know, you get those kind of like, you don't get the clean lines, you get the kind of like spots that are coming through with a different color. So what I did to avoid that is that, there's no point of putting on my hand, is, how do I show this? Like the first row I would just, with the new color, I would just knit through it. And on the second row, I would do the ribbing again. And then I would do with every color change. So I did one row of just knitting, plain knitting. Then I did one knit one purl all the way, and then the blue again. First row it was all knits, and then it went into the ribbing, and so on and so on. And that gave this much more neater, cleaner line for those. Yeah, even though it's kind of like peeking out a little bit there with the bright yellow I see, but it is still, I find, at least cleaner. And yeah, I think they turn out really, really nice. I was glad that I had knitted her patterns before in regards with the gauge, because I wasn't sure if I should go for one color or the other. Oh no, one size or the other. But reading, like, because like the last 2 pairs of mittens that I made, they are also her patterns. I or like the mittens, they came out bigger, which was perfect for me. I wanted them to be bigger so I could felt them slightly. This was not planned with these, so I knitted the smallest size and with the recommended needle, and I got gauged in the way it was supposed to. It fits really, really nicely. Yeah, I have the measurements of my friend colleague's hand, so I know these fit because her hand's about my size. At one point when I had gotten, I think there, I was kind of unsure if I was gonna be long enough, but they are just perfect. Can be, if necessary, blocked out slightly a bit more, because I haven't blocked them really, I have just washed them. But when it came to the thumb, I found it to be too short. Everything else was fitting just perfect, like absolutely perfect, but the thumb was short. If you see, it's a quite stubby, round decrease, and that is because you decrease pretty much half of your stitches like on the next to last row and rest of them like on the last row. So I was a bit unsure how to solve it straight away. I was like, how many rows do I need to make it work? So I was looking at the pattern, or like this, yeah, well, the pattern for the size up, and I saw it was just 2 extra rows, and I was like, I'm gonna try that. So I made up 2 extra rows in like in Excel sheet. I made like this sort of like extra, like, okay, if I do that, it looks more or less like it would belong to the pattern, and that worked out perfect. So I have not weighed them yet, but they are super, super light. They are so light, and they are warm and nice. So happy with the way they turned out. They make me think of you know, those colored church windows, especially like that bit there. Somebody said it looked like a flower, which I can see, but yeah, fun. Yeah, it has a gusset for the thumb there. So I'm really happy with they turned out, and now that I've showed them to you, I will be shipping them off to Northern Norway. And also I think this is like partially her inspiration, just very quickly, so in regards of the flower. So yeah, it's like this. I think this is where her inspiration came from. So yeah, the yarn, I think I mentioned before, or maybe not, is it's Rauma Finull. This one is 0412, the yellow. It looks a bit greenish on the... It's a pretty yellow, it's not green. Then you have this PT2, which is also Rauma. It's like an old stash. This one is just slightly thicker than the Finull, but not by much. And this one is color 52. It's kind of like this cerise kind of pink. And this one actually ended up buying extra because, as I said, I have a lot of like leftovers in blues, but I decided I wanted to be a solid color, so I went and bought another one of these, and this is a 0443 Finul, Rauma Finul. It's really pretty blue. And then this is like this old stash I have as well, which is PT2. Oh, here there. And the colorway is 72. So I would say this is it looks more burnt on the screen. It's more like an orange. I really like that. I think it's really pretty. And yeah, this one is hand dyed by Verbit, but it is a base by Hillesvåg called Sol. So yeah. And this is the same one that I'm having in my Fossveien-genser. I have not done anything with that jumper because for some reason I have removed the needles from there, so I have to figure out what needles I have used it, so I haven't gotten started on that yet. So that's another story for another time. So that was the mittens. And that's it for my finished objects, isn't it? Yeah, that's it for finished objects. Oh, actually, no, I'm gonna show you very quickly. I will also insert pictures on this one, but Christmas lasted for a long time in this household, at least when it comes to this doily. It did. I put it out in December because of, I'm thinking of it as my Advent kind of doily because of the color. And it's been on that table. I will insert some pictures. It's been on a table that's been made by somebody in my man's family, and it's blanking on me now who it is. I think it's either an uncle or something of those sorts, and it's called like a cigar table. So it has a metal top and it's nice like wooden legs, and the doily in question is this one. It is knitted in round. It is a pattern by Gjesdal, and it's from a booklet that is Strikke Design number 1013. And I just wanted to share that because the fun thing with this doily is that the yarn is like heavily deep stash. It's my mother's. I guess it's like a crochet type of yarn. So it's like there's really thin yarn. Yeah, and it's knit on 225 millimeters US ones. It's not the best work on those loops here, but I will fix that by the time I use it again. But yeah, this stash is like from a mother. I remember her vividly. Like that she was making from this type of yarn, which is called Iris. I think it's a Russian yarn. But she was making those like Easter, you know, those egg warmers and different things. Yeah. So this is like a good memory kind of thing that but she had a lot of this yarn left. I still have quite a lot in different colors, so I'm probably gonna making more doilies like this in the future because I find this to be really satisfying to make something like that. So I like things I can use. Like I like making things I can use, so they don't just end up somewhere getting dusty and not used, and you know, so I like things that are something that I can use. So yeah, this doily is something that comes out once a year and stays for a longer time maybe than the Advent lasts for, but it brings me joy. I think it's a lovely add-on to everything else that I knit. So yeah, so that was a little bit of FO from the past. Before I put it away till December. So let's get into the whips. Again, on the same note of wanting to use up yarn, I was sitting here and I have like quite a bit of yarn here. I've got a new shelves above my head, so there's a lot of yarn around me all the way. But I also have a shelving in front of me, and I like to look at yarn because it inspires me. And I'm calling my room like this creative chaos kind of room, because it might look chaotic to others, but I get inspired by, you know, it. Anywho, as you remember, if you're a returning viewer, I knitted that jumper, Myk Mix sweater for one of my stepdaughters in this Alafos Lupi, in this green colored beautiful yarn. And I was like, I want to make something out of it, and I wasn't sure what I wanted to make out of it because it wasn't like a great amount of it left. And then I was scrolling on Instagram, as you do, and I saw a post that was like, oh, reminded me about, oh, I want to make one more of those again. And what one more of those again is one of those pot pads or trivet pot holders. I was trying to look for the right word in English. I'm not sure if it's if I'm pronouncing it right or like whatever. Yeah, you see wear and tear. This has been used a lot for many years. And I wanted to make another one of these, so I started to make these little balls of, oh, look, it's matching. Yeah, I disappeared into my jumper. They're not 100% the same, but I started making those little balls, these nuggets of woolly balls. Let me see, I'm gonna just pick out a bit different colors. And I went into my stash and I was trying to see like what colors did I have, what would I want to put there. So this is from the hats that I made for the girls, and so is this. So this is Rauma Fivel in this bright yellow and this lilac-y purple. And then I had some vams from Rauma and fritidsgarn from Sandnes. That's gymnastics for your tongue, trying to say things correctly. And I had, yeah, actually this one is actually peeking through a little bit. I was like, once I had gotten a certain size that I was happy with, that's when I like finished it up, sewed in the ends. But that meant that I had a little bit of left, and I see I haven't done a good job. But it's good because I can show you. You see there's some yellow peeking through, because I wanted to use up every single little like bit of the yarn. So I just wrapped it around with this blue, because I didn't have enough for the yellow one, not for another yellow one. So I just wrapped it into a blue one. And I did also, because I had some other colors that didn't like really fit into the color that I had scheme in my mind. It's like, this is, oh, the ring light is killing it. Sorry about that. I do like that. I didn't want like reds in there, or what other colors I had there. Well, I had some nuggets of different ends and bits and bobs here and there. So I did take a couple of them are like a different color inside than they are on the outside. And the plan is now that I'm gonna put them into a stocking or stockings one by one, and machine felt them, and then either make a square one or make a round one. I haven't decided on that, because I really like that. I think they're cute, they're pretty, they're whimsical. There's no really system to this madness. It's just, you know, put them together as to your heart's content. It looks like there's blacks there, but there's like dark blue, and even this is a brown, purple. But yeah, it's, you can see it's been worn, like not worn, it's been used. It's like burnt in a couple places actually. Needs probably a wash. Sorry about that. But yeah, making one more of those. Another way of using up some of my scraps that are just like really not big enough for anything, like for a garment or even not for color work, but is enough for one of these. So hopefully by next time I have done the felting, and I've sewed it together, and I have something to show you. Just put it away. So that was one of my works in progress. Let's get to my scarf, or shawl, not scarf, but shawl. I was gifted the pattern by Stephen West called Melted Mirage, because that was something I wanted to knit, and I won in a giveaway, so I chose that pattern. And I finally started it. It's been something I wanted to make for a long time, and it started now. So this is it. It's really hard to show. Let me just drag it out a little bit over the needle so I can show it a little bit better, because I have quite long needles on this one. So just so it has space to grow, and just so I'm not gonna lose any stitches when I throw it in the bag. But yeah, this is the Melted Mirage by Stephen West. It's quite big already, as you can see, and I have just barely started my second color, like there. What is to be said about this Melted Mirage by Stephen West is that it is a pattern that is supposed to be knitted with double strand, and I am working it on 3.5 millimeters, which is US 4, and his pattern called for 5 millimeters on US 8. So mine is gonna be, I'm not gonna say smaller, but thinner, because still have those antennas there. It's gonna be thinner, and it's gonna be, I like the stitches better. I love his shawl, the way it looks. It's just simple brioche. I like the shape of it, I like the idea of it, but I want it to be smaller in regards of the stitches. I didn't want it to be as, yeah, you get it, I think. So yeah, as I said, I have just changed the yarns. You can just barely see the colors kind of changing. It's getting slightly lighter. It seems to be less green in there, so it's kind of doing the melting itself kind of thing. Because yeah, that's the thing with the pattern, Stephen's pattern, is that you're supposed to knit with 2 strands, and then you change one of the strands along the way, then you change the other one, so you get this more melted, more soft transitions of the yarns. But with my yarns, I thought that this is gonna be good enough. I don't mind if it's gonna be a little bit of line there, because all in all, it's gonna be pretty beautiful anyway. So the yarns, just to remind you, I have showed them to you before, but then they were in hanks. Now I've caked them up. These are the colors that I'm using. So I'm done using this one, and this is the one I'm using now. I think they're so pretty. They're so springy and wonderful, and I've been yearning for like this spring color so bad. And I was thinking, like, because of the way this shawl is meant to be, and you know, like, since I'm transitioned into this quite pale, yeah, I was helping my man yesterday, so I still have some mortar grease on my finger that I couldn't get out. I'm gonna have tassels on it, but I'm thinking that since it is so pale, I'm probably gonna be using some inexpensive sock yarn to make white tassels, so it kind of transitions even in the tassels into an even lighter color. That is my idea. The yarn that I'm using is, the main colors are by, oh, it's scrunched so badly I can't see. It's Håndfarget by Bitta. The yarns are 75% superwash wool and 25% nylon, 100 grams to 400 meters. And this one is blomstring, as in flowering. They're all the same base and all the same dye, so I'm just gonna read you the names. And the middle color is Mild June, Mild Juni. Really, really pretty. And the last one is, just get it back into the bowl. Don't you lose the tags. And the last one is Blomsterduft, or the aroma of flowers, the scent of flowers. So yeah, those are the three colors, the main colors that I'm using. And for the back side, like this side, this mohair that I'm holding or working it together with is a silk mohair by some Mescarn. And I bought it on a sale. I don't remember why they were on the sale, but it's colored 1015. So I don't know if it was because it was discontinued color. I don't remember. This is a while back. This is bought at a local shop up in my mother-in-law's town, or like where my man comes from originally. So yeah, I'm really enjoying this knit. I did knit it wrong all the way in the beginning. I had misread the pattern. It puckles a little bit, doesn't bother me too much. I think I'm probably going to be able to block it out, but in the beginning I misread the pattern and I did so many increases that I wasn't supposed to do. So my knitting looked like a donut, or like not donut, a spiral. A spiral is the word I'm looking for. It was spiraling out of control, literally. So I had to rip back quite a lot. But brioche, if you want to try it, this is, I would say, rather beginner friendly brioche, because there's really one special stitch that you do is one of those increases, but the rest of it is just regular brioche stitch, so it's not much. It's not a lot of increases, decreases going through there. And I've been thinking about that. This is gonna be my half and half wrap. I've seen a lot of people knitting half and half wraps and they are loving them, and I think this is gonna be mine. I don't think I'm gonna be knitting half and half wrap. That's not my cup of tea necessarily because of the shape of it. I rather have this sort of half moon shaped. I mean, I do have that shaped kind of shawls as well, but I don't tend to use them outdoors. That is something more that I use indoors. But with this half moon shaped, yeah, hard to show. I think it's gonna be so pretty, so lovely, and something I can wrap myself into. But I guess that's the beauty of knitting. We can choose what we like and don't like, and make what we like, and leave other patterns to others to explore and enjoy. We don't have to make them just because everybody else is making them. So yeah, this is my Stephen West shawl on the needles. And the last thing I have actively on my needles is a new cast on. I don't think I've even mentioned wanting to make it. It lives in this bag. Oh yeah, the other bag that I was just waving around with, sorry about foot flirting there with the camera, are by Inger Johanne. This is a bag that I wasn't meant to give away. I was thinking about giving away, but then absolutely fell in love with it and did not give away. I was allowed to keep it, but I was kind of feeling guilty that I'd made the choice, because the good girl wants to give it, like, pay it forward as much as possible. Anyway, what I'm getting at is I have cast on a sweater called Alyssum Sweater by Tomomi Yoshimoto. It is this beauty here. At least I think it's beautiful. I'm really happy with the way it's turning out. This has been something that has been on my radar for quite a while. She has another one. it drawing flowers? I have the pattern over there. She has another one that's been, I would say, making rounds on Instagram. At least I have seen it a lot, which has a quite a bit bigger flowers and just on the yoke. This one has smaller flowers, and it has it all over the body and sleeves, and I really like it. I think it's so pretty. As you remember, or like if you're returning viewer, you might remember I received this mohair yarn from my man for my advent calendar, and I've been wanting to make something really special out of them, you know, because it's such a beautiful yarn. I think it's so pretty. I wouldn't say it's typical with the orange content in it, but there's enough pinks, there's enough yellows and red running through that it kind of appealed to me anyway. And I wanted to make something special out of it. So when I suddenly like put 2 and 2 together and realized I could make this pullover out of it, I just went for it. With that being said, I am in danger of running out of the yarn because the pattern calls for a bit higher yardage meterage than I have. But my idea is, if I do start running out, I might just omit 1 row of flowers or so that I would make it. Or maybe, as I planned in the beginning when I had a different yarn chosen to go along with this. In the beginning I swatched it with several pinks, but I kind of fell for this one, which is the color Ballerina from Arvetta. It is color number 318. Yeah, because when I swatched these 2 together, I really liked the color it was creating, or the fabric it was creating. It was bringing out the pink. It was kind of making the orange a bit more subdued, so more like my palette. But when I was doing the swatching, and this is the base color I'm using, it's pearl gray, Drops Fabel pearl gray. I will find the numbers in a second. First I swatched it together with this Nature White by Knitting for Olive, and those went well, really well. But I have only 1 ball of this, so I was like, okay, I'm gonna try to find a mohair that's not too expensive. So I was going for Kid Silk from Drops, which is more affordable than many others, and it does the job. And I really like the color Kit, which is number 38, and that is this color there. So it has kind of like a almost like a purple tone to it, and I really like that. Those 2 together, I thought it was just so pretty. It just spoke to me. But the problem I was left with was that pairing that mohair with this and then starting to knit this, it just kind of melted too much together. As you see, like there is like sort of same type of tone in those 2, so it was kind of disappearing, and I was contemplating like, am I okay with it being such low contrast, or do I want it more high contrast? And I decided I want a higher contrast. And then I looked at my wall here, and I saw this coral yarn from Hedgehog Fibers. So Hedgehog Fibers, there's the thingy sock, and it's called Coral. And I found that these 2 worked well, very well together. At least I like them together very well. And yeah, this is a Kit Silk number kit number 38, and Drops Fabel number 114. This is the base. So yeah, I ripped back. I had maybe done half of the flower, or had I done even a flower, full flower, but yeah, I ripped that back and I added the coral in there, and that made it pop a lot better, a lot more. What can I say about this pattern? It has a couple places where you have quite long distances between the stitches with one color, so you have a long floats. What I do with that is, like, depending, like here, you have a long stretch, like over several rows, where you have those long floats. In that, I use a technique which I think, I haven't checked it, is called jacquard in English, which creates this sort of like a fabric on the backside. So I catch them into this grid kind of thing, and it doesn't show through as much. It kind of makes it more subtle. It disappears more. And otherwise, I catch them as per usual, as I go, every sew and sew stitch, trying to place them to spots where they don't show as much, or if I let me see if I can find a good spot, because there's so much happening now. Like, say if I was to work over these stitches with this orangey kind of color, and only with orange color, and I would maybe catch the gray float in here, or like behind this stitch, because then it kind of melts together with this one. But it's not always an option because the pattern moves. Yeah, so it's coming along quite nicely. I'm really happy with the way it's turning out. I mean, her pattern, this Alistan sweater, it has the numbers for, where have I put it? Nope, not there. I can't suddenly remember. It says she has it in 2 weights, like one thicker weight and then lighter weight, and I have opted for the lighter weight version, or the numbers. It's supposed to be numbers, or like, yeah. But because my gauge was off and I liked the fabric that I was getting, I am still going with the numbers as I would, and the size as I would for the thicker yarn, because my gauge is off. And because it's so much oversized, I think it's gonna work out fine. It seems like it's working out fine. I've tried it on, it fits nice. It's not too small by any means, it's just perfectly fine. But yeah, I'm gonna have to pay attention to the size along the way, try it on as much as possible, and cross my fingers. And I'm kind of also hoping that maybe the meterage will work out, because then I'm not making the biggest size, but because it's bigger gauge, you know. But we'll see. It's to be continued. I have some other plans with the flowers, with kind of embellishment I want to do to them, maybe, but let me get it done first. I'll knit more on it and see how I feel about it. But for now, I'm really enjoying this. This has knit up so quick. I am working these on 4mm, which is US 6, the pattern. The ribbing I did on 325, which is US 3. This is such a big jump in the numbers. Have I written down correctly? 325mm anyway in the ribbing, and 4 in the main fabric. I think it's so pretty. It just screams spring. And oh yeah, one of the reasons why I opted out of the white is that I didn't want white, like white, even though I'm sure the white would have been really, really pretty. And I think it probably looks more gray on the screen than it is, but I just wanted this soft color to it and not just be plain white. Yeah, I'm loving it. Really, really enjoying it. So those were my knits in progress, and oh my god, we're already so far into an hour plus. I hope you're still with me. Like, I have moved around because I need to move my feet. They were falling asleep, so I hope you haven't fallen asleep behind there as well. Maybe this is perfect time to go and stretch your legs, maybe go to the toilet, get yourself a new cup of tea, coffee, and then I can talk about a little bit of acquisitions and maybe a little bit of life. Yeah, because that was it for the knitting content. So now it's only what I have acquired since last. I received, yeah, I can do the 2 gifts that I received recently. I was gifted the pattern called Gunnis Shawl by Gunnirén Simonsen. She has her own podcast, and she gifted me a shawl pattern that she has designed, which I'm still yet to cast on. It is in my queues of things I wanna cast on, get started with. But there's other things that have taken up my time up until now. The pattern is per today in Norwegian. It's a really pretty shawl. It's inspired by Sand Waves jumper, which is also really, really pretty. It's by Ririko, I think it is. But yeah, that is something I am planning to make in the future in this really beautiful blue toned yarn that goes like it shifts from like dark to lighter as like long shifts, and that is what I want to use in there because I have this idea of how I want it to look. Yeah. Then the other gift that I was given is a hat called Rainbow Stairs hat, and it is by Anna Goetze, and I believe she has I know she has a podcast, but I think it's called Knitting and Mauritius. I think so. It's a really lovely hat pattern. Let me see, I'll just quickly open it up. It is knit out of DK, so it's a DK weight hat. It is in English, so if you wanna check it out, head to Ravelry. Yeah, those are the 2 patterns that I've been gifted. Thank you for that, both of you. Then I was browsing on Instagram again, as you do, and I commented on a yarn that, oh my mind, Hettestrikk had posted. It was so beautiful. It was like no, it's not a fade, but she had this neon kind of rainbow colors. That was so beautiful. Oh my god. You know, if I was a millionaire, I would have bought them all. Anyway, I commented them because they were just divinely beautiful, those yarns. I think it was that. I hope I'm not mistaken with another post, but I think it was. And she was so kind and said, like, you know, you can get like a 20% discount offer from me. And I was like, oh, thank you so much. How can you say no to something like that? So I didn't. And I said, like, well, okay, I'm gonna look at it nice and with a cool mind tomorrow, but you know, as you do, you don't. So I went into her page and I was browsing, and so much beautiful yarn. So much, like, so many beautiful colorways. I love those. I think it was her rainbows. I'm sorry if I'm mistaken, but so much beautiful yarn. And for some reason, I was called to something that wasn't as colorful when it came to actually putting something into my shopping cart. It's also partially because I wanted to try out this base, which is 100% Peruvian wool. Oh, it's showing up so nice on the camera. I'm glad for that. I was afraid it would not do so. It is so pretty. I will show you her tag because this is a bit hard to read what's on that label. It's Hettestrick. She also has some designs, different designs of both accessories but also garments. And oh yeah, the color is called Albøskjell, or what I found out in English, it's Patelidae. I will put a picture. It's this shell that you can find in Norway along the coasts on the banks. And I think it just mimics that perfectly. It's so pretty, so soft. And you know, I'm crazy. I've been making all these crazy colored mittens, and I realized I don't have any soft mittens. And when I saw her pattern, which is Studentvotter, I will insert a picture there. I was gonna say I can show you the picture there, but it's just black and white. It doesn't really show off the beauty of it, kind of thing. It's a very simple mitten that has like opening for your pointy fingers and I think thumbs if you want to, but that is something you can choose if you want to use it or not. So it's pretty much translated into student mittens, and I want to make these. I want to make a pair that is not crazy goo goo gaga like my most mittens are. They're like crazy colors, just to have something that is a bit more classical, I guess, because I do love color, but sometimes I also yearn for something more neutral, if you know what I mean. So that is Hettestrick, and thank you so much to Elizabeth for the discount. It was very kind of you. Didn't need to do that, but it is much appreciated. Oh yeah, and also she sent, sorry, I almost forgot. Look at this pretty bag. It's bag, and she sent these beautiful stitch markers, which I love, and now I can take them into use. It's so pretty. And there's a little, like the last one is a oh, sorry, it's a flower, I think, or is it a snowflake? No, it's a flower. Really good size, really sweet, and just perfectly my colors. I love these colors. So sweet. So thank you so much again. And then on the note of stitch markers, I'm gonna show you the ones that I bought from Sofakroken. And I chose quite a few because I was thinking that I want to use them for giveaways and stuff, but she also added in a few extra. I will show you. Like, aren't they just gorgeous? So it's and she has her own shop. It's called Epla at Epla. I don't know the link. I will link it below. I don't know it by heart. That's what I'm trying to say. I would say it's kind of like Etsy for Norwegian makers, where they can sell. Oh, the ring light is not good. Where you can sell your handmade things, so you can find anything from like stitch markers, for example, to yarns, to knitting bags. And she has a lot of different designs, and she's really good at doing different designs for different times of the year, as in like seasonal. And yeah, I really recommend you to check it out. Really pretty. I really like using them. They're just this perfect weight, not too heavy. Oh, stop. Not too heavy, not too light. Just perfect. And yeah, I think they're so pretty. She has released a lot of like beautiful Easter themed ones, and my fingers were itching and trying to push that button. It was like, no, I have plenty now to give away. I have plenty to put into my knitting. But yeah, that is Sofakroken. Cannot recommend it highly enough. Really nice, and she's really fast with the delivery. So is Hestestrick. Hettestrick. Sorry, Elizabeth. Yeah, so check it out. But she has different styles. Like they are not all this kind of like style as this one. Oh yeah, this one is actually with her. Can't really tell. It says her Sofakroken in the thingy. But she has different styles, which I really like as well. But I thought them to be so cute and pretty with the pictures in them. Otherwise, I've managed to run out of the house several times without a measuring tape. Yeah. So I don't know how I've done it. Usually I'm so good at having it with me always and forever, so to say. So I ended up buying one of those wrist rulers, as you do. I saw they had several colors. Well, this shop in particular didn't have too many colors. I think it was 3 different colors they had. And what I found that, you know, the pretty pink one, sorry about that, it was stiffer, so I didn't like that. So I ended up buying this dark brown, and this has been living on me ever since. What I must say with this is, when I bought it, I realized it was really long. It was way too long for my wrists. So I'll show it to you. What I realized is that when you look at the back of this knob that you kind of close it with, it has this sort of screw. So I had some not tweezers, but you know what I mean. Is it tweezers? Yeah. Anyway, I grabbed onto this, I screwed it open, and I cut off, what did I find out, about 2.5 centimeters, which is an inch, which is quite a lot. And I made a new hole for the knob to go through, and now it's perfect. Probably could even be just tiny tad shorter, but it's fine. It doesn't bother me. I forget I have it there, and because the leather is so soft, I don't really notice it. So no, I always have a ruler with me, or like a measure tape with me, which is great. And yeah, again, this was Crossover Industries wrist ruler. So I'm happy with that. Otherwise, a little bit of a jump back to my Alyssum sweater is like when I started planning on which colors I wanted to be, I tried out different ideas. So I just drew. I found this sweater online. It was just like yeah, as you see, and I filled up the whole page and I just drew some flowers and colored them in and tried to see if what kind of base I would like. So that was my thought process. That might be a helpful thing to do. You don't necessarily even have to have it like the size of a sweater, but like I find it to be helpful at times, because it's easier to paint on paper and decide for yes or no than to knit up a lot of swatches. Like get like a general idea and then start swatching before you, yeah, just little like something. Maybe it is helpful, maybe not. Anywho, I went to a knitting shop called Fru Kvist here in Oslo, because they have all the liner magazines and liner books, and I was particularly checking out, I think it was volume 11, the magazine, but actually ended up buying number 16, this one there. And mainly because, let me just get to it very quickly. There's several beautiful designs, but the one that I really fell for is, did I just push past it? It's this one there. I like the simplicity of it with a little bit of interest, and it has this sort of like, let's see, it doesn't say anything yet. Yeah, it has a little bit of this heightened neck and this split hem, and you see it's so pretty. It's so simple and so pretty at the same time. So this is definitely something that's gonna come onto my needles, but I think I'm probably gonna leave it to closer to the autumn-ish time. But you never know. My mind works in a strange way. Suddenly I find the yarn that's really working with the pattern, and then I just go for it, like no matter what. And I also like this one. Very simple. Again, split hem. I'm not sure if that's something I would do or not, but anyway, I like the simplicity of it with that little bit of interest. Maybe, I don't know, but it was mainly the other one that I fell for. And there are some other really pretty designs of yeah, I guess I can show you the vest. I'm not a huge vest person, but I think it's quite pretty, this one there. This is the back of it, and because it's pretty on both sides to be. Oh yeah, that's really pretty. So yeah, this is Liner Magazine number 16. I bought that one. I just had to have that. And I think that is about it. I mean, yeah, I purchased some mohair yarn, which I already show you. I did buy more of the Arvetta and the Ballerina, but I'm hoping maybe I can return it if I'm not gonna figure something else to make with it, since I opted for the coral from Hedgehog fibers instead. I'm just thinking, like, how much more should I drag it on, because it's already 1.5 hours long. I can just quickly say, like, it's been nice here. I will put some footage at the end. Like I said before, it's been nice here with the weather. Like, it's been sunny, cold but sunny. Or maybe I've already put the footage in the beginning. Probably have, or like when I was talking about it earlier. Yeah, come on. I was actually, me and my man, we went to a comedy show this weekend with Nate Bargatze. I think that's how he said it. It's a it's an Italian name, and I was very curious about how he would say that, because to me, I always known him as like American, but he does have Italian roots, and I think he said Bargatze, which would sound pretty much correct. It was really fun. I enjoyed it. It was a fun night out. Yeah, it was really great. We laughed, we enjoyed. We had a glass of wine prior. It was really, really nice. I see that, you know, with the weather changing and the sun coming out more, I feel more lighthearted. I feel more happy and content, and actually that's what I'm kind of getting into, is that I see that the more, you know, mental health, the way it works, simply put, the more you focus on the things that are wrong, the more you notice the things that are wrong. And otherwise as well, like, you know, the more you pay attention to the things that are good, the more you notice the things that are good. So I have caught myself kind of almost bursting out in laughter. Well, it's not, no, that has happened before as well. This is not, no, bursting out in joy. Or when I was reaching down for my shawl project, Stephen West Melted Mirage, I was reaching for that, and I saw the bag it's packed in. Just quickly show it again. I mean, just made me like feel so much joy and happiness for the pretty, beautiful fabric, the colors in it. It just made me like feel so happy. And I know it is so important with how we look at life, how we or what we put the focus on. But I've been working on it really, really intentionally, because this whole situation of not really knowing what my body is up to these days, why it's not working, all this has been like dragging me down, making me feel kind of like so it's kind of great to feel the joys again, and you know, being that kid again that's kind of like, oh, pretty yarn, you know, let me just touch it. And I almost feel kind of like the times I've been to like different knitting happenings, I'm like, oh, can I touch it? And I'm like, I say this silly word in Norwegian, this word, like, can I fiddle with this kind of, and it's kind of not the right term, but I like it. It's like, you can't have more fun than you create yourself. So I do see my kind of like my mental health improving a lot the more I focus on it. I am looking forward to next week with my birthday and everything, and all the things that will be happening in regards with that. I'm not gonna have a big birthday party. I'm not good at that. I'm not good at celebrating myself, to be quite honest. I don't really enjoy being in the middle of attention in that setting, and it doesn't make sense, I know, but a little bit of context. Me and my brother, we are just a few days apart. I'm born on the 22nd of March and he's born on the 31st of March, so there's just like barely two years between us, and we always were celebrated together, so we always shared the space of birthday, meaning that when family came over to celebrate us, it was always the two of us that was being celebrated, and the two of us that got the attention. And I don't know how to not share that space in a way, or how to take up that space for just me. I find myself kind of becoming a bit awkward and uncomfortable. I've been trying to learn to enjoy it, of course. I've been trying to improve myself on that matter, but still is a way to go. Yeah, I'm just too much of a caretaker. I think I am not used to being taken care of, so that is kind of like, I think, in the same lane of thinking that, you know, I'm here to take care of you instead of you taking care of me. So like, you know, I'd rather make you a birthday cake than you making me a birthday cake. Not that I don't like your cake, it's just like, it's weird that I'm not participating in that bit. But yeah, no, I'm enjoying life. I mean, to the best of ability. It's like, yeah, I went to the show, I was to the comedy show, and I was tired. I'm still kind of on the rebound from that, because it takes time to get the energy back. But that is not where I'm putting my focus anymore. That is at least helping me mentally, and that is so wonderful to feel that at least that is getting lighter, like really, really lighter, and it's like working out. Yeah, I'm just trying to think. There's been more things that I've done. I was supposed to be taking part of a bit of a sauna hour on the fjord here the other week, but unfortunately I dressed too lightly one day because it was looking so sunny and so warm, and I got a cold. So I had to skip that, unfortunately, because I had been really looking forward to that. I had even ordered myself a sauna hat. I was preparing myself. I got this water temperature measurer, so which I could have like taken with me into the water. And they all arrived in time in order to participate in the sauna thing. But I had a cold, like a fever and a sore throat, and it was just something I couldn't go ahead with, so I had to cancel that, unfortunately. But I'm hoping that there will be more possibilities coming ahead the girls seem to have a lot of fun. They did it on the 7th of March, so you can just imagine in the depths of the winter still. And they seemed like they really enjoyed it. I had received some footage in the shape of pictures and videos. Yeah, it looked like they had a great time, and I'm happy they went through with it. And now on Friday probably I will be going to an exhibition of one of the ladies. She is a wonderful painter. I will hopefully take some pictures if I'm allowed to by her, and insert some here the next time I podcast, because I really like her aesthetics, her colors. It's just the energy that comes through those paintings is what I've seen up until now has been really wonderful and strong and healing in many ways. If you know, colors do affect us. Motifs, pictures of sorts, they do affect us. And I really enjoy what she puts out there. So shout out to Stina. I will be going to see her paintings, and yeah, hopefully I'll be able to either share some photos of her paintings or find maybe her Facebook page. I will have to check like what is okay with her. But yeah, I think I have spoken for long enough. This is the longest episode I think ever. I'll see if I'm able to maybe cut out something here and there. Maybe if not, I hope you have stretched your legs along the way, and that you enjoyed what I've had to share, that you're still here with me. If not, it's also okay. I know this is a long one, but thank you so much for spending time with me once again. It is much appreciated. And just like FYI, I will be drawing some random giveaways with these, I think, here and there, with these stitch markers, because I have, like I said, received quite a few to be given away. So it's never wrong to comment, because you never know when something like this might be coming your way. But yeah, thank you so much for hanging out with me, spending time with me, and I hope you come along again next time I'm posting a video here. So wishing you a lovely month of March, and I'll see you soon. Bye.